Hello, everyone. My name is Mariah Williams, and today I will be informing you on how social media affects our lives. Look up and observe. You could have met someone, saw something, or even experienced something which could have changed your life for the better instead of scrolling on Facebook, Snapchat, or even Instagram. As a second year college student, I find it hard to balance school, sleep, and the social life. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. I am mindful of your difficulties. It's hard not to get addicted to staying linked, but I've personally witnessed what it can do to a person. For instance, waking up in the morning and grabbing my phone before brushing my teeth is one of the most common things people do in the morning, believe it or not. First, I will talk about the positive and negative effects on our relationships. Next, I'll discuss the amount of users that use social media platforms such as Instagram and Snapchat. And lastly, I'll be talking about how isolation leads to poor communication skills. So, to start off with the positives, it brings people together. It helps build healthy, friendly like relationships, as well as building intimate relationships, depending on what it is you're looking for. It helps communicate with people around the world. So if you have family or friends that live in a different state or country, it helps to contact them and it allows you to send pictures or videos. Next, we have the negatives. One of the negatives that come with social media is distraction. You can easily get distracted. As you can see in the picture below, there's a couple sitting at a table and not one of them is engaging in a conversation. They're only on their phones. I find it to be really rude and disrespectful because if I'm trying to get to know someone, I want to have a face-to-face conversation instead of being on our phones the whole time. Now that I discussed the positive and negative effects that come with social media that have impacts on relationships, now I'll be talking about the amount of people and time that is spent on both Instagram and Snapchat. 1.74 billion people use Instagram, which is quite a lot of people. Majority are female users, and the average person spends about 28 minutes on Instagram. Now for Snapchat. According to Hootsuite.com, as of June 2020, an average of 238 million people were using Snapchat each day. This is an increase of 35 million year over year. Snapchat is to be one of the 13th most popular social media sites used. Now that I talked about the amount of users and the time spent on both apps, I will be discussing how social media overuse can lead to poor communication skills. So the overuse of social media can cause isolation. The feelings that can be caused is loneliness, depression, anxiety, distraction, loss of connections, or feelings of being alienated. Did you know that 16 to 24-year-olds spend a median time of 3 hours a day on social media? On review42.com, it states logic dictates that younger generations spend the most time on social media. And I know for a fact that this is true only because I've witnessed that most adults don't really stay caught up or don't even know how to use the newest apps. And back in the day, they didn't have telephones or social media apps or Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter. So to see that the younger generations are more involved than the adults with social media is not that surprising. As you can see in the pictures below, I have two images that show the difference between the younger generation and the older generation involved in social media. First, I talk about the positive and negative effects that social media has on our relationships. Next, I talked about the amount of users and the time spent on social media. And lastly, I talked about how the overuse of social media can cause poor communication skills and lead to isolation. I hope that this has provided you with many benefits and that I have informed you well enough to know the background of social media and the effects that it has. Thank you.